Hey, all, back with a quick summary. So, the crew got back together. The team decided to split up immediately, with Sentience and Hellish Hunter going to check out Cutter Field and question him with the warrant, while Tremor and Iron Maiden went to investigate that factory with mutants. At the precinct, they managed to interview Cutter, who said very little but dived into his mind and learned a few things. On top of what they already knew, it turns out Cutter still has no idea of who actually hired him, that he had hired Firebug to cause a distraction, hopefully to be long on his way using a cruise to get off far away from here long before the situation was over. Things obviously went sideways from there. They also learned he did get his equipment from Dr. Ransom, though it was learned last episode that Ransom had no idea why. During the interview, they heard about a commotion down in the district their team was in, so they rushed off. Meanwhile, the others worked out how they were going to break in, using their new technology developed from that magical crystal that Iron Maiden had found. She had developed some illusion technology. She had disguised Tremor as one of the thugs and turned invisible himself. As they were about to sneak in, they seen a man in a sweater vest and a nice hat and glasses being accosted by one of the thugs. It looked like the thug was going to get violent when Iron Maiden caused an illusionary explosion in the distance factory. This caused him to drop the guy, see Tremor as one of the thugs, and bring them along with. They went in giving warning as Tremor noticed many of the workers who were mutants decided to descend beneath the factory. People being fooled for the most part, they went in. It wasn't until the boss of these thugs, wearing one of those power suits that the group was investigating, came out able to identify Tremor and Iron Maiden, even though she was invisible somehow. A very short fight ensued where the two destroyed the boss quickly as the others arrived and began to look at the scene. Police officers arrived shortly after that. It turns out the drugs gave a minor high, much like marijuana, but seemed to may have effects on superpowered individuals. Taking samples of both the chemical used in the creation project and some of the finished product, they went to the sewers. It was down there that Tremor began to sense something below them. He began to dig while Iron Maiden and Hellish Hunter headed off to find these mutants and speak with them. As Tremor and Sentience descended, they discovered that this living labyrinth was under the city. This being they made contact with turned out to be from outer space and did not want to hurt organic life, and claimed many times he could not afford to harm them in any way. While they began to troubleshoot what to do, Iron Maiden and Hellish Hunter met up with the mutants, quickly intimidating and convincing them that, they're not working for the right side, and this managed to kind of buy over some of their information, learning that they were hired by Jeeves. During all this and working on the excavation, Tremor sensed something below the creature itself. Upon digging, it unleashed a pressurized black mist that poured and covered Tremor. Tremor lost all their abilities. At examining this mist, it turned out it was knocking out mostly everyone's abilities, so they decided to make their way back to headquarters. There, they met up with Silicon Man, who seemed unaffected by the black mist, though his equipment wasn't exposed to it. It seems that this black mist seems to nullify everyone's powers with the exception of Sentience, who it seemed to amplify. Cleaning and collecting the black dust, they started doing some tests. Meanwhile, the man who was rescued decided to touch base with the hero team and thank them for their valiant efforts. This JV claimed to be a very wealthy investor and was looking to invest in the city. He was very excited to meet everyone. Upon Sentience trying to probe him, some of his technology seemed to activate, causing the man harm. With an incredible show of willpower, they managed to force Sentience out, though Sentience did learn a couple things, which he has tucked away. Going back in, the investigation continued on the black soot, learning that its properties does seem to match much of that plant they found that could be used to amplify the Starborn, though having much more sophisticated alien composition than the plant originally exposed them. And with that, I think that covers everything nicely. I'll see everyone Friday, January 8th at noon Eastern Time. Hope everyone's having fun, and I'll see you then.